All right, welcome to another episode of Just Cooling Podcast. I'm your boy Country Red representing 918, and you
I
are.
am DJ Quinn. What's going on?
I must have a special guest in the building. Now, please introduce who you are and give us a background on what you do.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am Gina Wilson. I was born and raised south suburbs of Chicago, lived in St. Louis for 10 years, been in Tulsa going on 8 years, mother of two beautiful daughters, age 16 and 19. I'm an author. I'm a podcast host that needs to get back on it, and you all are giving me inspiration. I'm a student, a doctoral student, and I'm an educator. I am actually the principal of the Tulsa Virtual Academy, which is a pre-K through 12th grade, 100% virtual school in Tulsa Public Schools. And last but not least, I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
What?
Age myself,
Hold on,
but
slow
I'm
down. Wait,
24
you're
years old.
you're what?
I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha
Who?
Sorority Incorporated, 24 years in.
Who? You said you said you said Zeta? Zeta Phi?
No, I did not say
Oh,
Zeta. I said Alpha Kappa Alpha.
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure how you could confuse the. I mean, both are
I'm,
lovely, but I'm not sure how you could confuse us
I'm
with
sorry.
anyone
That
else.
that was my sisters. We fought Beta over here, so I'm just.
Well, I love all y'all. I'm just saying.
Nah, we good. Go ahead. I'm good. I'm messing with you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But that's pretty much who I am.
Ooh, awesome. You tell us a little bit about the Virtual Academy.
Absolutely. So, Tulsa Public Schools has their first pre-K through 12th grade, 100% virtual school. Of course, this year it was set up in a response to the pandemic. But it has been very, very successful. And we do know that outside of the pandemic, once everything is under control, there is a large subset of our population that wants to be virtual. They don't have the desire for the traditional way school is. And so we are continuing the virtual academy next year. So it's not going to shut down because everybody's getting their shots and everybody feels safe again. We are going to continue to provide this mode of learning for those families and those students that really, really excel in it. They want the flexibility, and I'm excited to be the principal of this academy.
Let me ask you. Do you do
Awesome.
you think that the students would be missing something, not being able to go to the actual school, or do you think this is just a better way?
So this year, everybody was out of school, right?
Right.
So yes, there are some students that miss the socialization of school, which is why we listen to our parents. Our parents that was like, we love this, we love the flexibility, but my kid misses seeing their friends, misses actually seeing their teachers. And so we're actually changing the model for the school year next year, and we're going to have a blended learning model. So those students that do need more in person, whether that be for friends, whether that be for connecting with a teacher, we're going to make sure we provide that.
Gotcha.
How would you in the social emotional learning aspect of that? Could you speak to us about that a little bit or elaborate more if possible?
Absolutely. So it goes back to, and this is where just thinking has to change. It goes to relationships. And what the issue is a lot of people did not know that it was possible to build relationships with students virtually. You don't have to be with a student to get to know that student, to know that there's something going on, for that student to open up to you, for you to give that student resources, for you to be able to look on that student's face on a Zoom and see something is not right, and then ask those questions. And so I think there was a piece missing that people were like, how do we do this? And one of my jobs was to help teachers understand it's the same way you build a relationship if they were sitting right in front of you. Do you know that? Are you calling them by their name? Are you finding out what their interests are? Do they know anything about you to connect with you? I am a true advocate in education of sometimes you got to step away from the curriculum to get to know the student, to be able to help with some of those social emotional things in order to come back to the curriculum. And we have this concept that we've had in education for a while, teaching bell to bell. What does that mean? When was there time for me to get to know the student? Because students, adults, and children, we don't learn from people we don't like.
Right.
And so I think that's the key.
What would you say if to all year round schools? You think we should be doing that?
I check the box. You should be in school year round.
Mm.
I'm not sure why we have this break. The break is too long, because if I break it down, you go to school in August, you're in school August, then we give you a fall break in October. We give you a little break in October, and then you're out for Thanksgiving break, and then you're out for winter break. Then you come back, and then you're out for spring break,
Right.
and then you're out May, half of May, June, July, until almost the end of August. There's too much learning loss during that time that I think school should be year round. Of course, with maybe a 2 week break here or a 3 week break here. But I think our students in America would be so much further along if we didn't have all these breaks. That's me. I know a lot of students would be like, "What is Ms. Wilson doing?" But that's where I'm at, and that's why I think summer learning, which is something that we're doing in TPS this year, is going to be huge. Stop that long gap of not engaging in anything academically, because it takes too long to get you back on track when we come back in August.
Well, school all year round. Some parents. Okay. Let me ask you this. So, how can Black and Brown communities have the same access and opportunities versus the other communities in regards to education?
I think we have to speak up. I think we have to just stop not having the resources that we see other people have. I think we have to stop just saying it is what it is. I also think that we as parents have to take some more ownership in what's happening. We got to talk to our students. We got what's happening at the school, what's going on. A lot of times things change when people advocate for change. But if you're not advocating for change in a way that you can be heard, you get what they give you. And so I think you're starting to see a shift with a lot of the advocacy that's coming up. But I think it's no secret that there are things that have been put in place in education that were put in place purposely to hold us back. Anytime a student is only introduced to themselves as someone getting off of a boat to be a slave, can you imagine the damage, the emotional trauma that does to a kid? That's the first time they're introduced in history to everybody in the classroom. That wasn't by accident. That was by design. That
Yeah.
that's how we're introduced. And whether we realize it or not, it does impact our students from an early age on. And why is African American Studies an elective? Like, if you want to take it, I'm gonna be quiet.
Hey. That
You know,
is true though.
it's just not okay, and it's not okay if it takes a lot for me to understand. I am, my people are somebody before they came here. But we have to go seek that information for ourselves or take it as an elective, but you don't get that elective until high school.
Right.
So how many years have you went through not even knowing about yourself and being proud of who you are? So we learn we're raised in a white space. So we've learned how to adjust and play the game. And in playing the game, we never have fully understood who we are and the power that we have, but they understand it, which is why they wrote the history books like that.
Okay, we're gonna move around from that one. We're gonna move around for that one.
Yeah.
We're gonna switch it up. We're gonna go into the music. Hold on for a second.
Okay, let's do it.
We're gonna switch. I love what you're saying, though. Love what you're saying. Uh, what would you say? Give me 5 top songs that changed your life.
And you want to know why?
You can give me the
Yes.
why too. That works.
Okay. I'm gonna start with the Super Bowl Shuffle,
Mm.
1985. Yes, I'm dating myself. Here is why. I grew up Church of God in Christ. My mother saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. We wasn't listening to nothing but Shirley Caesar.
Mm.
Um, Super Bowl Shuffle was the first song she allowed us to listen to that didn't have anything to do with God.
Right.
um, and so, but the huge part about that, which I didn't understand until I was older, I love Super Bowl Shuffle from Chicago. I don't know if you all noticed or not, but that song was recorded the day after they lost their only loss of the season. And then it was also recorded 2 months prior to them winning the Super Bowl that year.
Mm.
And I'm from Chicago, so I understand the confidence and the cockiness in doing the Super Bowl shuffle 2 months before the Super Bowl. Can you imagine if we would have lost? So, okay, so that's my first one.
All right. All right. I
um,
like it.
my second one is Paper Thin MC Light. I
Mm.
was about 12 or 13 years old. At this time, I learned how to sneak and listen to the music. But MC Light, she just reminded I saw myself in her. I was a tomboy. I had the haircut. I had the bamboo earrings. I was still fast and trying to talk to boys, but I was still like rough around the edges, you know. So she was so that song and her, she just really, really, I really connected with her as an artist. My third one, I would fast forward to college and it would be Juicy.
Mm.
I was a freshman in college. None of my friends to this day, my kids don't even understand it. I have a huge crush on the Notorious B.I.G. I get it. People don't understand because he's not necessarily the most attractive man in the world, but he got some charisma about him that I would have been like, yes, let's do this, Biggie. So Juicy would be my third one. My fourth one would be One Last Cry by Brian McKnight.
Mm.
I cannot tell you how many times I date myself again. It's on cassette tape. It's looped on a cassette tape.
Red plays that
I
on the
have
regular. Red, tell her about it.
I got an issue with a guy. We getting ready to break up. By the time I loop that song over, I'm good. Like One Last Cry got me through a lot of that college drama. And then my fifth one, I would have to go to as an adult, and that would be Break Every Chain by Tasha Cobb.
Mm.
I think it reminds me of the power of Jesus. I think that it grounds me when I'm having any anxiety or I feel depression coming on. It gives me faith and confidence to know that if I call on the name of Jesus, he can break everything going on.
Mm.
Like there's nothing too big for him.
We right there.
So those would be my top five.
Okay. I like it. I like
Love it, man.
it.
All right. You want to go ahead and transition into sports, Q, or you want to ask more questions before we talk about
No, go
sports?
ahead.
What you think?
Well, you know what? Let's before we went live. Let's discuss this. What we was talking about. What's going on? I'm new to it.
So So apparently Kirk Franklin then went off on his son and
Mm.
called him some colorful words that Christians not supposed to use, and said some things to him. And it's all up. You got got half the people on social media like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you would talk to your child. First of all, the boy is 33 years old.
Who is? Oh,
You
his
talk,
son.
yeah, his son 33. You'll talk to your child like that. This is abuse.
Mm.
This is trauma, verbal. I get all of that. And then you have a subset of people saying, like you not like, if you a parent, you understand that a kid sometimes can take you there where you got to show, so I sit in the space of, I don't ever think it's okay to verbally abuse anybody. I don't care if they 3 or if they 33. I also sit in a space where I understand this young man did not post the entire video. So all I see on Instagram is the video, or here is Kirk going off. I would like to know, before I make any judgment, not that it's even our business, but I would like to know, what did you do to make your father snap on you like that? Like, did you bait him? Did you? Because one of the things you hear Kirk say is, what you're not going to do is be disrespectful. So something clearly happened,
Mm.
and that doesn't excuse the behavior of Kirk.
Was they in the same
And
house?
no, he was on the phone
Oh,
with
he
him.
was on the phone. Okay, okay.
And so it doesn't excuse the words that were said to your son, but it also doesn't excuse you posting this for the entire world to see. And I think they both got some soul searching they need to do, but they don't owe the world an apology. That's something between them if they choose to mend it.
You know, I think it's okay to cuss your son out every now and then, though. You know, if he
Well,
needs it, cuss him out. He,
you got a generation that's gonna jump on you and say no to that.
ah, he might have needed it. He might have needed it though.
I do believe that there are some times, and I posted this today on my Facebook, so it's there if you want to go look at it. I posted there are some times where you have to match language, volume, and tone for people to understand and stop playing with you.
Exactly.
This might have been one of those times. I don't know if I don't know. And so all I'm saying is let's not be quick to make judgment on either one because there's clearly more to this story
Listen,
than we know. But I don't think Kirk owed the world an apology.
no.
And that's something why people don't want to be Christians. It's like because you're still human.
Nah,
right. We are.
All you got to do is repent and pray about it. He'll be all right.
And my thought is, and I know I'm an educator, and some people are like, really, Gina, their words. Like, who decided that that was a bad word? Like, and how did that become law?
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah. Well, you know, hey, like I said, I think it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, who knows what he was doing during that time? So you only can take a person so far before they, you know. So he could have been, but you know, like you said, he's 33, so that's their business.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Grown man. 33, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm not curious on So earlier you was talking about how you were a sports mom. So how is that being a sports mom and you being an educator and going to school and so forth and so forth?
Love being a sports mom. I have my oldest who is now away in Kansas, playing basketball and was with her. She played basketball probably since she was in kindergarten up. And then I have my youngest who goes back and forth with gymnastics and volleyball. Love being a sports mom. I love the energy of it, love supporting. I've driven all over the world for tournaments. I've spent millions of dollars, I feel, at concession stands. um, it's a lot. I will say when my oldest, who is now away, went away, it was almost like, what do I do? I got this free time. Like, what do I do with this free time? I would say the hardest part about being a sports mom is watching your child sometimes go through what you feel is not fair. But life isn't fair,
Right.
and trying to step back and allow them to learn those lessons or earn that playing time or you see like I tell you what the hardest part is when you see people on the court make mistakes and they stay out there and then you see your kid get on the court and make a mistake and they get pulled right away and you can't understand the reason because that kid just had 5 turnovers
Right.
and 3 missed shots
Right.
and my kid missed a 3 and the
That
pass that she threw was good but the person didn't get it and she got to sit down. That is the hard part as a parent and I still struggle with that. I struggle with that but I also try to remind them that it's a game. And I know some people don't agree with me, but at the end of the day, it's a game. And I had to really work with both my girls to let them understand you can't let a win take you too high, and you can't take a loss take you too low.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you gotta ground yourself. You gotta ask yourself, what can I do better? Why is the coach not doing this, not doing that? What? Because you can only control yourself. You
Absolutely.
know, people say what they want to say. Favoritism is there, relationships are there. Yes, coaches are there and they're developing kids, but at the end of the day, you know the coaches want to win. I mean, that's how you keep your job by winning.
Yeah,
So you
absolutely.
got, so I just talk to my kids, you got to make yourself where you one of the go-to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I try to take my focus off of what the coach is doing because I wouldn't have you with the coach if I didn't trust the coach.
Right.
And I try to more so work on them and their self-development of how they're perceiving things. Stop always perceiving that somebody is being unfair to you, and figure out what is the other person doing that I'm not, that's getting them more time.
Yep, more playing time, exactly. I definitely think that. All right, we got a segment called "Who You Got" segment.
Okay.
Go ahead, Red. And basically, we pick two people, and you got to tell us who you would prefer.
Okay.
All right, so who you got segment? Who has, look at it this way, who has the better movie catalog out of Halle Berry or Taraji P. Henson?
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Taraji P. Henson.
Oh, I don't know. Why would you do that? Holly got some
Because
hits.
you want me to be completely honest?
Yes.
Because I have issues with some of the roles that Halle has took.
Like what?
I feel she took. Oh, well, one that I just cannot talk about. Is that the one that won her the Grammy or the Emmy?
Yeah.
I believe I'm about that.
So I kind of lost some respect there. But both are powerful in their own, in their own lanes. But if there were a movie and I had to pick one, I wouldn't pick the one with Halle in it. I just wouldn't.
No,
maybe because I relate more to.
No, we basically saying as far as their body of work, who you think would be, who would you pick their body of work? I mean, it's movie to movie. If you're going movie to movie.
Well, we're going movie to movie. Halle gonna win, of course, but.
I try to tell
But
Red
if you
that.
go with preference, I'm going the other way.
Yeah, Holly. Because Holly got some classics, like what was them classics you was naming off, Red?
Say it again.
What was the classics you was naming off and Holly had?
Oh, we could do Boomerang.
Right, yeah, Boomerang. What was that other Spike Lee movie you said?
There was Strictly Business and Jungle Fever.
Yeah. She played Jungle Fever.
Isaiah.
But they almost in different categories from when. I mean.
Yeah, you
it's
can't
like
say that.
comparing an OG to a new G. Like, which one you gonna? I mean.
All right.
Put you in the heart.
All right. What about this? I got one for you. 112 or Jagged Edge?
Well, you should know that I'm gonna go with 112 because I'm bad boy for life.
Everybody doing the puffy. Everybody.
I told him.
Why would you choose them over Jagged Edge?
Because I'm loyal to Bad Boy, and I just.
Well, I'm talking about hit from hit though. About the song.
That's not how I process it. Like
that would be a good. That would be a good versus battle. I think.
Yeah, it would. It would.
Because both of them.
I don't know. I'm always going to lean towards, and I know that's a bias of mine, I admit it.
Who other artists did Puffy have over there? Well, that was R&B. He had Carl Thomas.
Yeah.
Faith, Total. I'm trying to think of some others. Those were the main ones, though. See, Faith, Total, 112. Somebody in the chat help us out.
Wait,
I feel like there's one more.
And who did Jermaine have? He had Jagged Edge.
Was Escape under Jagged Edge?
Escape.
I mean, was Escape under?
I think he had Escape.
Okay.
Who else he had? Was that about it?
Pretty much. For Usher, I mean.
Yeah.
Group. Escape. Don't Escape.
Escape.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bad Boy got them. As far as you just talking about groups,
right?
Out of those two, I have to agree with Gina on that one.
So she went with 112, huh?
Yeah.
Or Jagged. Okay.
Yeah.
The beats go harder on Jagged Edge. The beats, I like the beats.
They got a more of a, it's like some more of a hip hop feel kind of too.
Yes, they do.
I mean, as far as like you said, they beats.
My brother said G Dep. Lord, okay.
He said,
Got about G Dep.
"Low Sean."
All right. Just cooling pots over here clowning. All right. I guess all right. So you were speaking about virtual being an all year, or just, I guess for the regular school year continuing. And so, do you ever see online school in the near future replacing
Mm,
in person learning,
I
or do you
don't
think
ever,
it's going
I don't ever, I shouldn't say ever, but in my lifetime, I don't see in person ever going away.
to? Okay.
Um, I think I think there is room and space for both in person and virtual.
mhm,
I think once we get over trying to compare the two, because it's like comparing apples to oranges, we will understand it's enough space for both to live in the same
Well,
space. You know, right now everybody's like, oh my God, um, I don't think in person will ever go away. For one of the reasons, one, there are just some learning styles that are going to need that. Two, look how education, look what happened to the world when education almost shut down.
hold on,
We
before let
realized,
me cut you off 1 second. I don't mean to, but let me ask you this quick question. While you're saying that, while coming back to school, some of them is doing learning. Do you think the uh, students should have the shot first before they go to school, like they're doing with the teachers, or no?
you know what? I honestly do not think there is enough information
Mm,
and enough data in regards to what is going to happen in the future with those that get these shots. So for kids, no. Because what if, I'm just saying, what if, I'm not saying this is going to happen. What if it messes with fertility?
mm,
What if things come out that we don't know that this shot is going to, so I think we need to probably leave our kids alone for a minute,
mm,
and let's see what happened with us adults that are getting this shot, so that if we need to perfect some things before we give it to all of our kids.
mm.
That's my thought.
So we should basically stay at home learning before we.
No, I think no, I think you can. We're in person. I think you can go in person. You can just continue to wear your mask right now.
Hmm.
Continue to wash your hands. Continue to try to keep your distancing as much as you can. But in person is needed
Well, what?
and important for some students and some families. I just don't think it should be all the kids should get a shot
Well, let me ask you.
right now.
You think we should hire more teachers? That way we can break up those classes that have maybe 30 kids or 25 kids in them.
Absolutely, if we can. It's been a shortage in education though before
Mm,
the coronavirus. How do we get people to come to the field of education, that's coming to the field of education? Here's the key: because you love kids.
hmm.
Because if you don't like or love kids, then you're doing a disservice to education to be in the building working with them.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks. Oh man, okay. I kind of got sidetracked with
My
everything.
bad.
So could you?
That's okay.
No, I was just kind of got sidetracked by everything, but it all kind of worked itself out as far as the question. You actually answered a two-part question, so that was dope. Um, so could you, I guess, explain the difference between a charter school and a public school? Like, what are the advantages or disadvantages, or can you kind of like, uh,
Oh, you put me in a pickle in that one. So you want me to tell you the advantages or disadvantages of a charter school versus a public school? I cannot speak to that because I do not and have never worked for a charter school.
Mm.
oh,
Do you think
okay,
that? Do you think charter schools are better than regular schools?
I work for a public school, and I think that I am given the highest quality of education and that they don't need to go anyplace else. But I also have never worked in or for a charter school.
Okay. Well, some people say,
But I also believe in choices.
"Got you."
So I believe parents should have choices. And if this charter school um, has a mission, and they are working with your student, and you feel like they are offering a better educational experience, I feel like you should have that opportunity as a parent to make that choice. So I don't want to say no, because I think there's a space for charter schools, there's a space for public schools,
Mm.
there's a space for private schools, and it all depends on what is the best fit for that family. So I don't think any of them should be written off.
Right.
I think they all are trying to provide the best service they can for the families that want to be in their school.
Let me ask you, do you think it's been harder on some students as far as learning wise, just since we're, on the online? Because, there's so many other distractions at home. They can do anything, you know what I'm saying? They can,
That's right.
so, you,
Absolutely. I think that this has been very hard, but I think it was hard because we weren't or they weren't prepared for it. I'm going to tell
mm,
you the biggest difference outside of the obvious of virtual and in person based on my program. I can't speak for all virtual. I'm just speaking for Tulsa Virtual Academy. In person, you are in a traditional mode. So in a traditional mode, I'm the teacher.
right.
I decide this is the module I'm teaching. This is what you're going to learn. And then I decide when you're ready to take the assessment on it. And then I decide when we move to the next module. You don't get to decide I'm done with this module. In virtual, you have the ability for self agency to move as fast or as slow as you want to.
Hmm.
So we provide the modules, we step in with the support to help teach it. But if you don't need it, if you can go through my modules and you like, I'm ready to take the test, even though somebody else is not ready for 3 weeks, you can take the test and move on to the next module.
Hmm.
You are no longer at the mercy of the teacher deciding as a whole class, now we get to move on. That's where your discipline problems come in. Because Johnny not bad. Johnny is just advanced. And Johnny already know this. He's bored. Johnny start acting up. All
Hmm.
your discipline problems are not because the kid can't read. And that's what the world try to cone it as is, your discipline problems in the classroom come because the kid is acting up because they don't understand the information. Maybe the kid does understand the information and is bored,
Mm.
but they don't have the opportunity a lot of times in the traditional setting to continue to move and push their learning because they have to wait for the teacher. So that is the biggest difference in the two.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with
Awesome.
that.
All right. We're gonna transition into helpful tips. So could you explain to everybody that's watching or just gonna watch later, what are 5 tips on how to be organized as an educator and as a parent as far as balancing both? Could you give everybody some tips on that?
Mm.
Absolutely. Okay, so first I just want to say before I give my tips is that I am a parent, so I'm an educator, and I am a parent of a student in virtual school. So I'm speaking from the educator side and the parent side. Um, the first one is you have to know what's going on. So you got to take the time to educate yourself. Now, you don't have to have full knowledge. You don't have to be a science teacher, a math teacher, but you at least need to know that Johnny got 6 classes and that, Johnny's supposed to be on this platform. You just be like, I don't know what Johnny doing. Like you at least have to know, take the steps to know that. Email the teacher,
Right.
hey, just want you to know here's who I am. My second would be make the time to engage with your kids about education. So
Mm.
if it's not important to you, why is it important to them? So I go back to being a sports mom. I didn't miss one game as a sports mom. I could tell you my kids' stats. She knew that was important to me, but she also knew that her education was important to me. So you have to make the time to engage with the kids about their education. And if you can make it to every football game, you can make it to one night of parent teachers conference. What are you telling the kids if you won't engage with the teachers at all? The third one is, and this one is not always popular, but focus on growth and not grade.
Mm.
And I wish with my oldest, I would have had this mindset of celebrating her for the growth that she had in math and not only focused on the grade. So if you got a C, but you had a D, you showed some growth, and we should be proud of that as parents, and we should celebrate that and let our kids know that their self-value is not wrapped up in a grade that means nothing. I cannot stand grades. If y'all get to know me, I cannot stand
Yeah,
grades.
you know, I think them grades will bring anybody down, a person down, especially kids. They bring you down. Just that F it looks so bad. You know what I'm saying? And
Thank
they
you.
don't want to learn, or so I definitely agree with that.
I mean, think about getting your paper back. You study for that test, you get that paper back, and it tell you how many you got wrong. Why can't you switch the concept teacher and say you got 20 right?
Mm.
You got half
Mm.
of it right. I mean, but we always go to the negative. Or I even talked with my teachers one time and I was like, have you ever, because here's the thing, we're creating a test based on what we think you should know.
Right.
Have you ever put on your test, tell me something you learned that I didn't ask you about and gave them credit for that?
Mm.
It's I could go all day long, so I'm gonna stop.
No,
Okay.
no, that's good though. I mean,
My fourth one would be a good example of how to advocate.
Mm.
And I say that because we might not think about it, but our kids, they pay attention to how we talk to people and how we advocate for them. So if your style of advocating is calling and going off, you're not really giving them a good example of how to properly advocate. So when they get to school and they get upset, what do? They do what you do, but then they end up with a referral and in detention or suspended.
Kurt
When
Franklin.
they're just there you go. They're just mimicking what they learned. You get upset, you feel wronged, you go off.
Right.
So that would be my fourth one. And then my last one would be know your role.
Mm.
And when I say that, I mean, there are sometimes as a parent, you have to be in discipline mode. You have to be in support mode. You have to be in counselor mode. Sometimes you just got to fall back. And I think a lot of times parents are in one mode and they're in parent mode. Why it's not done? Why does grades look like this? And if you just kind of adjust your style for what's happening with the student, I think you'll see your student engage with you more, tell you more that's going on. And then I know I already did five, but I'm gonna say this. I have seen things in my career happen that I feel like I hope you're gonna go home and tell your mama about that or your daddy about that, but the students don't. They deal with it on their own at school.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, I felt disrespected by this teacher, or this was said to me by this student. And they never open up to the parent so the parent can properly advocate and get to the bottom of it. Our students in these schools are just dealing with it on their own, but they don't have the maturity level to exactly know how to handle it. And we all know if you're a child, and this is so wrong, but if you're a child and I'm the adult and you do something wrong, who get the punishment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so
Exactly.
I would like to see, I would like to see kids go home and talk about their day, because something that they didn't think was inappropriate, a parent would be like, they said what? And so I just think it's important that the school day should be an extension of your family day, and you know what's happening in those buildings or virtually with your child.
What do you think about those parents who are with basically they well, I know a lot of people be like, well, don't be best friends with your child, but what you think
Mhm.
about those parents that are best friends with their child? You think they
I can't.
succeed more, or
Okay, so I'm gonna put it like this. I'm not friends with my kids. We cool as all get out though. Like that's my homies right there.
right?
I call myself the president of the Helicopter Mom Association. But I'm not their friend.
Mm,
So I think it's a fine line of being in tune with your child and close to your child
mm-hmm.
and kicking it with your child and having fun with your child and being their friend. Like my daughter, she's a rapper here in
Uh
Tulsa.
oh,
Like,
well, she got bars.
oh, she got bars.
Uh
She,
oh,
she you know, she's a rapper, but we not friends. Like I'm at the video shoot,
she got an
and
Instagram.
some
We got to
absolutely.
shout out your daughter's Instagram so we can
So you
check
got
her
to go to
music
the
out.
real Rashawn. She can go check out her YouTube page.
Okay.
That's my girl,
Mm.
but we not friends. So so like she got, I had to deal with when she got a little bit older and she started cursing in the music, and I didn't want to accept that. But the thing was, I was worried about my image.
Right.
She got to do her. I know who she is. And so I say you can be cool with your child. You should be cool with your child. You should be friendly. Y'all should have a great relationship. But she shouldn't be able to sit down and just start, do Kurt Franklin with me. Like she should, she shouldn't be able. She shouldn't be able to do that because there is still a level of respect
Right.
that's there. I'm gonna tell my age. I'm 44. I'm not sure that me and my mother are friends yet. Like we cool.
Right.
She's always gonna be my mother, and I there's some things I'm just not gonna say in front of my mother or do in front of my mother. And I think when you too early become your child friend, you lose that piece,
Mm-hmm.
and then it could go. I mean, there could be no consequences for that, or it could go left.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I just know a lot of people be like, oh, don't be friends with your child, which is like you said is a good thing. But I always, wanted to know that people who are friends with their child, that's how they roll. Do you
Right.
Is their education? I think that help them out anyway, because you're there and you're learning with them a little bit better too. You know what I'm
Here's
saying?
the problem. It's not a problem. Here's why you see so many people being friends with their kids these days. It's just the parents are getting younger.
Mm,
So people are having kids younger. They're teenagers when they're having kids.
right.
They like in they late teenagers in the 20s when their kids are growing up. And so it does take more on of a friendship relationship. That's all it is. Even the grandparents are younger
Yeah,
because
that's true.
I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I just think it's you see more younger people having children, and so you see the dynamics of the parent and child relationship changing.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're we're starting to be the hip hop moms and dads. You know what I'm saying? We know
Absolutely.
about the music, and we follow more than our parents did. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm up on some of the music because of my daughter.
Right.
Like, I'll be like, who is this? Like when they post up on Facebook, I gotta Google and make sure the boy over 25, 26 before I respond. Because I'm like, when the baby first came, I was like, I need to know how old he is before I say this man is fine. I need to know how old he is. And so it's a fine line. But let
Right.
me tell you, my Instagram is I am Rashawn, RASHON1, and her YouTube is the real Rashawn.
Okay.
So, and I say hi to Raina. That's my other baby. I don't know how people have like 3, 4, and 5 kids. I'm trying to keep, the support even.
I feel you. I feel you. Hey, so do you have an Instagram, or where can we find you at? Like, if anyone wanted to ask
I
you more
do.
about schools and the
So
charter
my
schools.
Instagram is _Rochelle, ROCHELLEW. I know y'all like, why is it _Rochelle W when her name is Gina? My legal name is Rochelle.
Like,
I go by Gina. Long story. My Twitter, same thing, _Rochelle W. My Instagram I use more so. I got a lot of students on my Instagram because I changed my Instagram and I let students be on my Instagram doing distance learning so I can communicate with them.
mm,
So, and my Twitter is more professional. And my Facebook, it's just, if you follow me on Facebook, it's just like a reality show. That's just my place I put. Like you'll see
whatever.
me and my kids dancing. You will see me out protesting.
Mm,
So feel free to follow me on anything you want to follow me on.
okay.
All right. I'm gonna close the show with a quote. Any more questions, Q? You good?
Now go ahead.
Can
Yeah.
I pitch one
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
No, go ahead. Do you think?
Yeah, you go ahead.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be starting up April 9th. I'm gonna do a couple weeks, probably 4 or 5 weeks of Let's Talk
Mm,
TVA, and TVA is Tulsa Virtual Academy. I'm just gonna do short 15-minute live on our Facebook page. I just really, really want to talk to parents about virtual learning and the tips for parents for virtual learning, how to navigate it, how to be successful in it. But I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because I know people got a lot to do. And just asking you all if you want to tune in to those. They'll start April 9th. And you just go to Tulsa Virtual Academy Facebook page. And I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to talk, allowing me to come today.
oh,
I
we
know I'm a
appreciate
little
it.
biased for virtual learning because of my job, but I'm telling you, it works for some of our students. And if it does not work for you, you have other options. But I would come try it out. and know that we are going to support you and your student the best that we can.
Absolutely. We appreciate you coming on our platform as well. So thank
Like, all right, so I'm in the show with a closing quote. It's real short. I'm not gonna read the whole paragraph here, y'all. So bear with me. So this is by Rita Dove. There are times in life, instead of complaining, do something about your complaints.
you.
Say it one more time. There are times in life when instead of complaining, you do something about your complaints. Y'all let that marinate.
What you think about that quote?
I think it's right on time for everything we see happening in the world. There's times I see stuff put on social media, somebody upset, and I really just want to say, what you want to do about it? What do you want to do about it? We can complain all day, but if we don't move into action, if we don't support other people that's moving into action, we just talking.
Yep.
And it's time for us to put some muscle behind our words and some advocacy behind our words, some money behind our words, some support behind our words. So that quote is powerful.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank Rita Dove for writing that. Whoever she is, research on her. The name sounds familiar too.
That's what's up.
That's it. Uh, the end of the show.
Well, we
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
coming on.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. And we out of here.
it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.